hear music.
No, it should be stopped.
I hear music. I heard myself.
That'll do it.
Music. Robin, you should speak. I heard myself.
Hello.
That'll do it.
Music. Oh, yeah, I hear you. All right, we're good. Robin, you should speak. I heard myself.
Hello. Excellent. When you're ready then, my son.
Do you have the intro audio or no? I'll do it in post because it's going to try and launch the I don't think it's going to play for us, so I think it's going to try and launch OBS on my side. So we'll just kick it old school, and then I'll add the audio in post, or whichever edits.
Right.
Okay. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Okay, just double checking. Pete, you ready?
Oh, good. Oh, good.
You sure? It's a big show, and you showed up for a big day, a news day.
Do you know? Hang on, then. Can you give me another half an hour?
No, it's now or never, Pete. Now or never.
Just go.
Shit or get off the pot.
Just go.
All right. Hey, everybody! Thanks for tuning in to episode 687. We are the official, unofficial E3-ish podcast. It's June 12th, 2022. This is, of course, the Overseas Connection podcast, but we are talking all kinds of goodness from this past week of gaming news today. So strap yourself in. It's going to be a fun, possibly long show. Before we get started, though, I do have to introduce the team, the trio extraordinaire. Of course, you have myself, Greg DeLacy, gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. And manning the decks-ish is Robin Tate.
Hello, everybody. It's Robin here. Hi, I'm on the show. Got my Harry Potter specs on for those who are watching, and I'm ready to roll.
Okay, enough of that. And also on the podcast, the ginger with the best gingerness ever, Peachin.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be back. I'm sorry I've been away, but there we go.
We're glad to have you back, Pete. We really are. It's going to be an exciting show. We should also point out, Robin, Kim Woods on the show.
Yeah, that's Kim Woods is now. She's an MMA cage fighter. So this is her latest shot from her latest fight. So Kim Woods, the cage fighter, she's a fantastic woman. She has fantastic stats, really good. She's really an industry pioneer in UFC.
Stats?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of her stats are just unbelievable. I mean, she's 59 years old. She was born on the 9th of April, 1963. She has no wins and no losses, which is absolutely fantastic. But she's great, 135 pounds. And she's just one hell of a cage fighter. So we didn't know that. So fantastic.
I'm going to make one request that we transition. Never mind. You've already done that. I'm a little delayed on my feed. That's all good. Yeah, Kim, congratulations. Sorry to hear, though, that your voice box got knocked from a high leg kick and so that you're not able to speak right now. But, just nod along and we're good. All right. Well done, Pete. Yes. All right. Here's the deal. It is Sunday. We record every Sunday, 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. in the East Coast, and you happen to be getting your larynx knocked out by a high leg kick. You are 3 p.m. In that time zone. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We also put forward an audio podcast, and that audio podcast this time will actually be special because it will have some of the sound effects you don't hear on this podcast. So that out of the way, it is a different show because this is traditionally E3 week. And so we have had a lot of news between Summer Game Fest, some leaks that happened, as well as the big Xbox Bethesda showcase that just happened. And so we're going to cover it all. So kind of deviating from our standard format. I know you guys are all excited to talk about everything and anything you've been doing, in the past couple weeks. Pete, I believe that actually is going past, back like 4 months. But we're going to hold off. We'll talk about that stuff towards the latter part of the show. In the meantime, we're just going to dive into the news.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. So the news. Quick recap. So this past week, it started with the PlayStation State of Play, which we covered last podcast. Then this week, we had the Summer Game Fest, as well as the Day of the Devs that took place on June 9th. Then there was the Netflix Geek Week, as well as the Tribeca Game Showcase. I didn't really hear anything coming out of either one of those things, so to be perfectly honest, okay. But we did also then get treated to the Xbox Bethesda Showcase today. And so we're going to cover basically the Summer Game Fest, a little bit of Day of the Devs. Also, the Devolver Showcase happened. And so there certainly was some came from that, but it was more entertaining than anything. And then finally, of course, the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. So strap yourselves in, guys. We're going to go through the news. As we're talking up the games revealed from the shows, the way I think of it is if any of us want to talk about it, we have a thought on it, we'll speak up, we'll talk about it. There's a lot to cover, so I don't want to dilly-dally on any one particular game, that kind of thing. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're mean and lean today, gentlemen. Mean and lean. All right. First, before any of the shows actually started, there was an interview that was basically a press interview between Microsoft executives, and they made a few different announcements that came forward. And so the big one was the xCloud gaming will support your game library later this year, and that they would be adding demos. So this, obviously, this, I think, created a pretty big stir on a couple different fronts. The demos portion of it, a lot of people were calling out Xbox kind of following PlayStation's model of requiring demos in their paid for behind a paywall system. And then, of course, the games library aspect of it, which, fantastic to hear that games you own in the Xbox ecosystem, you'll now be able to play through xCloud, because up until this point, they had to be xCloud Game Pass enabled games in order for you to play them in through the cloud. So let's say you owned, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and it wasn't in Game Cloud, you couldn't play that game. Moving forward, any game you own, you'll be able to play through the cloud, which is kind of expanding where and how you can play. The game demos is kind of an interesting one because it's not quite following the same model as Sony. So this is really going to be geared towards indie developers, and it will be an opt-in program. So they're not making this a mandated program, but they're also incentivizing the developers that make these demos. So if you make a demo for xCloud Gaming, Game Pass, they will incentivize you. Who knows what that incentive is, but basically it's helping pay for making that demo. Yes, Robin. Did you have anything to say other than just giving it a middle finger?
No, that was first for Pete. Yeah.
Okay. For Pete, I see there's chat going on behind me that I can't see. Fantastic. Love you both. All right. So that news hit. We also got treated to the news that Samsung is partnering with Xbox and Game Pass, and that will be coming June 30th.
See, I predict things. They were right.
You did and you didn't, Robin, because you predicted the dongle.
No, an app on the TV or a dongle for people.
All right. Well, we have all of that for the record. We'll cover that in probably a week's time frame. But okay. Most importantly, coming to 2022 TVs, and they did say they will expand this to other television makers, that it won't just be Samsung, but initially it's Samsung. That's the deal they've made. So any Bluetooth controller you hook up to the TV will work. So if you have a PlayStation controller, There you go. You're good to go. So that news hit. And then Ubisoft unveiled Radar. That's a new Ubisoft investment fund initiative supporting indie studios in Quebec. So very specific to Quebec, which I thought was, why not just do an initiative overall? But okay. So Quebec. And it will really focus it on, supporting projects in all three phases. So, funding and pre-production, finishing fund to help the studios complete their games, and then of course the kind of the marketing commercialization side of it. We'll see. I think this is a great initiative to helping indie developers. Okay. We'll get some more indie darlings coming out of it, but I mean that's really the gist of it. We then, pre any other show, we're treated to a leak from the PlayStation Store itself that The Last of Us remake was in fact real, coming to the PlayStation 5. I won't spend any time on the leak. We'll get into Summer Games Fest next, and we'll talk about Last of Us because there was more than just the Last of Us remake happening. But it got leaked ahead of time. Unfortunate. And we'll talk more about the leak itself as we talk about their presentation. So that was all happening before Summer Game Fest happened. I don't know if there's anything else the two of you had heard or wanted to discuss prior to we get into the shows.
No, just that I was right about everything.
Okay. Robin was wrong about everything. That's okay. That's okay. We're good. We're good. All right. Summer Game Fest kicked off on Thursday. So this is the Jeff Keighley show. Some people were trying to be, coy and be like E3 Keighley. No. This was just a Summer Games Fest, part of E3, if you will. So did either of you actually watch the entirety of the Summer Game Fest?
No, I did watch today's. Flip me. My
Okay.
phone was going bananas.
Yeah.
So.
I've only watched today's as well.
Okay. So I will save you a little bit of trouble. The Game Fest, I would give it a C rating overall. I think there were times where it felt like a reveal show. You were getting gaming reveals happening. The unfortunate part was it was mixed in with all of these weird ad moments where some of the reveal trailers themselves felt like they were like a television ad just put up in spot. Okay. And then, of course, there is The Rock made a presentation during the show where he was in his home gym, which, by the way, is like better than most gyms you see out in the commercial space. He has no shirt on. He's holding up his camera, basically doing like a selfie. Yeah. He's talking to everybody, and he just goes into this weird self-promotion. So he starts promoting his energy drink. He holds it up, and he talks about his new energy drink. He talks about Dark Adam, the new movie that is coming out that he's in. Then he goes back, talks more about his energy drink and the excitement that all of this is happening. And it was just, I just straight up felt like I was watching an infomercial. So
maybe got him cheaper to do that.
Oh, totally. I think that was the only way he was going to appear on Games Fest is if he could pimp his own products. But yeah, so, okay. We get into Game Fest proper. They kick off with Street Fighter 6, which we had already seen in the State of Play reveal. But they did confirm Guile will be in Street Fighter 6, and so they showed that game off. The next game that came out was Aliens Dark Descent.
Oh, yeah. That'll
be coming in 2023. So I'm not quite sure what the gameplay is in this. It's either a twin stick shooter, isometric view, or it's going to be a tactics game, but I believe it's going to be a twin stick shooter kind of game. Very cool kind of cinematic CGI trailer where there's a guy talking into kind of a recording and he's documenting what happened to them. And he's surrounded by aliens, so he's going to die any minute, but he's kind of telling the tale. So that is 2023. I'm pretty excited for it. I know, Robin, you're going to be excited for it. It's Aliens.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Pete, any excitement for an Aliens twin stick shooter game?
No, more Street Fighter 6.
Oh, it's driving me crazy. Okay. Enough of you, Pete. Anyway, moving on.
Street Fighter is a class game.
So are you excited for Street Fighter 6? Let's ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Definitely,
by all means, feel free to speak up.
No,
I didn't mean to gloss over that.
Well, Pete, they did talk about having some sort of more expanded story mode for Street Fighter, which is, it's all about the fighting for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but the endings always disappoint me. I don't know what it is. There needs to be more to it. I mean, you do put a lot of work into those Street Fighter games sometimes, especially if you're playing it on a hard difficulty. But I don't know. The graphics look amazing with this. I don't know. They're more focusing on like realism, aren't they, for this new Street Fighter 6? Looking at a few images, I've not seen any video footage or anything from the previous conference, but I just noticed a news article about it, and there was a couple of snapshots, and I think it was Chun-Li fighting. I can't remember who it was now, but they look very realistic. Oh, it was Rio, I think, and it was like very realistic. And I don't know, it just gave me that little warm fuzz. I was like, I've got a secret love. I've got a secret love for Street Fighter. But there we go.
I'm of two minds on Street Fighter in terms of visually. I think the traditional fighting, looks good. Mm-hmm. The one aspect of this game, and Pete, this might excite you, is they have this open world, create your own fighter kind of vibe to it. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I don't know if that's the story mode or not.
Okay.
But this didn't look as visually stunning as like the traditional Street Fighter kind of, side by side fighting, you normally get, that 2D or I guess it's, a 2D plane, but then you have kind of dimension 2 of the plane. So I don't know.
It's the old classic viewpoint, isn't it?
Right.
I do like that. I do love that old school, viewpoint, and the animation being very simplistic. And I don't know. Sometimes I get a feel like they're trying to get a little bit like Mortal Kombat sometimes, and then they bring it back. So because I found that with Street Fighter, was it 4? I found that they tried to touch on a bit of. I think you could change around. You could fight on like a 360, a 360 degree. I don't know how to say, like a 360 degree room, and you could change direction, and it was not necessarily 2D and straight on each other. You could fight around the room, and it was a little bit more like an open room type fight. So whether it's going down that route, I don't know, but. I don't know. It's just something new. As soon as I seen it, I just got a little bit excited. So I just thought, I'm going to invest in it for this one.
Well,
I didn't go down the route for 5, so I'm going to try it, see what it's like.
Okay. I think that's it. Like I said, the traditional aspects of the game look great. The open world thing, I was kind of like, okay, I don't think it looks that great, but apparently everybody else is all over it. So maybe I'm just being a little biased in that respect. I think plenty of people are hyped for this.
Kim's all over it in the video playback. Yeah, she's on it. Yeah, she's on it.
Absolutely. All right. So we had Street Fighter 6. We had Aliens Dark Descent. Then we got treated to, which I think is probably the best looking game from Summer Game Fest, which is the Callisto Protocol. This is from the maker of Dead Space. And it's basically Dead Space. It looks fantastic. It has a ton of gore to it. It ended with a moment of the main character getting sucked into kind of a grinder, and just like it was just nasty. But you have stomping. You've got the energy gauge on the back of your suit, just like they did in Dead Space. So a lot of Dead Space vibe going into this game. It looks fantastic. A lot of people are talking this game up, so something to look forward to. And I think it's coming this year, if I'm not mistaken. So the Callisto Protocol. Put it on, especially if you like a little bit of horror. You like that. By the way, Summer Game Fest had a ton, like horror is back, whether it be space horror or horror games, they are back in full force. The
horrors are back.
The horrors are back. Next we saw Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 confirmed, the remake.
What was the funny thing you were talking about, the name or something, that it was what's that?
So the hashtag for this game is Modern Warfare 2, but it's all put together. So there's no spaces. So when I looked at it initially, it looks like Warfaral, not Warfare 2, because it looks like just it's double L's as opposed to.
Oh, right, yeah.
So when I first saw it, I was just like, Warfaral, what? And I'm like, oh, okay, Warfare 2.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I see that. All right, yeah.
But they've done some interesting tweaks to the game. So I don't know if you guys remember the cargo ship. You're fighting between the containers, and I remember that being a balls hard level. Yeah. Well, they've added in some new dynamic to that, and now the shipping containers actually shift with the ship as it's leaning to and fro, and so your cover spots are shifting on you as the ship is moving.
Oh, okay.
So
I love Modern Warfare 2. That's good.
I think all of us are. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic for this game. So there we go. Flashback 2 was announced. This Flashback, if you're not familiar, this was a game that came out 30 years ago. So
it's an old game, isn't it? Yeah,
it is an old game. The sequel, finally, after 30 years of development, coming out. I mean, it looks fine. Side-scrolling, light puzzle kind of, adventure game. We'll see. Witchfire, which will have early access exclusive to the Epic Game Store, was announced and shown off. I think Kim was pretty pumped for this. This is, I think, the game that it's got like a real big heavy metal soundtrack to it. Very Doom-esque in that, you're kind of fighting to the beats of the music. I mean, honestly, it has a lot of a Doom vibe to it. Then we were treated to a new sci-fi thriller called Fort Solis. This will actually have Troy Baker and Roger Clark in it, so Kim was quite happy to see that. Mm-hmm. They'll be starring this. I believe, again, kind of a, this I think is another game that had a little bit of that Dead Space vibe to me. So I don't know what to make of it other than it looks kind of like it's going to be interesting. Routine was the next game shown off. Again, it had kind of that Dead Space vibe to me a little bit, but this is with robots and androids as opposed to monsters. That'll be headed to PC and Xbox. I don't know the dates on these. I just have the title. So sometime in the near future. Then we got Stormgate, and this is where I fell asleep a little bit. This is a free-to-play RTS from former Blizzard developers. I know a lot of people love their RTS games, so it's kind of a philism game, if you will. Not my bag. Then we saw High Water. That is a adventure indie game that basically is dealing with the end of the world. I don't have anything really to say about this game. A lot of these, just like the next one, American Arcadia. This was a dystopian TV kind of setup to it, but I don't know. Again, not really my kind of game. So, but the next game, this is one that is my jam. We talked about, we saw Marvel Midnight Suns. We'll get there. Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is Firaxis, developers of XCOM. They are creating a turn-based tactics game that has a card play in it as well, which is kind of interesting, with Marvel superheroes. They had a kind of reveal trailer that showed off Venom and Hulk will be in this as well. So I'm cautiously optimistic for this one. I kind of see how they can make this work now. I was a little skeptical at first, but we'll see. All right, the big game, Goat Simulator 3. The real funny bit about this is there was no Goat Simulator 2.
Huh.
So we're just on to Goat Simulator 3.
Love it.
So yeah, that will be coming. Then we had Midnight Fight Express, fast-paced isometric action coming in August. Again, stop me if you want to talk about any of these. A lot of these are kind of Neon White, which is coming in June 16th. Warframe showed off a new expansion, which is called Duvuri Paradox. So, okay. I didn't even think Warframe was still a thing, but apparently it is. Zenless Zone Zero, that was shown off. Then we had super powered battle royale Super People is in final beta. Okay.
Don't hold much hope for that.
The one big surprise, TMNT, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, coming out June 16th. And the win here for anybody on Game Pass, it's coming to Game Pass. The crazy part about this game, up to 8-player co-op.
Wow.
So is
how
it
did this look?
Is it going to be in the same style as the last one?
The old arcade classic.
Yeah, that kind of your just side-scrolling beat 'em up kind of game.
Nice.
8 players seems like that is just chaos.
Huh.
Yeah, but give it a go, eh? Why not?
I guess, yeah. All right, why not? Sure.
It can't be any chaotic as a 4-player PUBG squad, can it? Really?
No.
And you got people coming at you from fucking everywhere. Yeah.
I do 8-player co-op though. That just sounds chaotic.
I don't know, man. I think it'd be class.
It may very well be. This may become our new jam. So who knows? Honkai Star Rail got a trailer. I don't know anything about this, so okay. Nightingale. This is a game. I think Kim is going to be all over this. It's a fantasy survival card crafting kind of game, but it looked like a little bit of that steampunk kind of vibe to it. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide had a new gameplay trailer shown off, and I believe that is coming this holiday. Saints Row Boss Factory was announced. So the Saints Row 4 game, of course, coming.
Okay, winner.
We denied you that, Robin. No, because that was already announced, Robin. You don't get any wins for things already announced.
I was confused by that.
This is going to be, yeah. We're going to have to fact check you, Robin. But anyway, Saints Row Boss Factory is available now. It lets you go in and kind of create a custom character. So you can kind of monkey around with that and create your own characters. And I guess I would assume be able to import into the game once it actually launches. Humankind was announced. That'll be coming to consoles and Game Pass. New DLC out today. I'm not sure. I don't recall this game at all.
What music? What music?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Lord, here's the music.
You might want to mute your browser, Robin, when you're showing off.
I'm not.
You're showing off stuff.
Oh, Greg, Lord is right, actually. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a 6-player co-op, not 8.
6-player co-op. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But that sounds much better than 8.
All right.
8 was chaos. So 6 is more manageable. I just remember it was a lot, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "That just seems like it's going to be chaos on screen."
Yeah, well.
Yeah. You're forgiven, Robin. You're forgiven.
So I wonder who you can pick then. So you got the 4 turtles. You got what's the little rat name? Splinter, April,
Right.
Casey.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder who else there is. That's enough though, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, that'll get you your 6. So there you go. I don't think I'd want to play April.
Why?
Just because she doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, but she's got that yellow suit.
Oh well, there you go. That's a win right there. Next, we saw a trailer for Gotham Knights, which is coming this holiday. They were showing off Nightwing. I know a lot of people are really mixed on this game. I still think it looks great. I love the whole, Batman games, the gameplay of them as well. So I'm down for Gotham Knights. I'm hoping it does not fall flat on its face. The next one, which was kind of funny because I guess they had to put out a press release explaining the name of the game because they thought there was going to be confusion around it. But this is Layers of Fears.
Huh?
So this is from Bloober Team. This is, I think, what a lot of people thought was going to be the Silent Hill game, but no, this is Layers of Fears. And I know they put out a press release. I didn't bother reading it, trying to explain the name of the game, but I guess you have layers to your fears. So Layers of Fears. It's a horror game. It's going to have a little bit more action to what they normally have done in the past. A lot of the games in the past, you couldn't die. In this game, they have come forward and said, no, absolutely, there is the ability to be killed and die in the game.
I won't be playing this.
Yeah. Is it because of your Layers of Fears?
My pants.
All right. My pants. All right. And then they ended the show with The Last of Us. They brought Naughty Dog out. You could tell they were absolutely bummed that the game was leaked ahead of time. And it was leaked by somebody at PlayStation, which is even worse. But so The Last of Us Part 1, which I thought was interesting. So they're now calling it Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2. So Last of Us Part 1 is getting a remake. They said it's going to have all new assets to it. As far as I can tell, they're not expanding on the game at all. So it is just getting kind of that visual bump up. I don't believe they're doing anything in terms of anything beyond the inclusion of the game, and I think they include some DLC with it as well, if I'm not mistaken. The Left Behind DLC will be coming with it. And that should be coming out, I believe September 2nd is the release date for that.
I think that was a waste of time, if you ask me. I'm not.
Well, we have also learned that it's going to be $70. So, they're full ticket for the remake for PlayStation 5. I think a lot of people are like, they don't need to have made this. But of course, I think it's going to have no problem selling out. People are going to buy that game up like crazy.
It's got a massive fan base, hasn't it? But
it does.
Realistically, if you had to really look at what you're buying now, I wouldn't purchase this. It's nuts. If you've already played the first story, the second one was absolutely amazing, as well as the first one, but the second one was even better. Why go back and play the first one if there's going to be no extras or nothing like giving you some prequel insight?
I know, but hopefully the video on YouTube will be HD now.
That's what I'm hoping, so I can watch it all over again. Within this announcement, of course, they talked about the game. They also talked about the HBO show. So The Last of Us coming to the big screen. Interestingly, the actress that plays Ellie and Troy Baker are in the TV series. However, they're not playing the main characters. They're playing other characters in the game. And it was funny because I was listening to another podcast talking about this. They said for Troy Baker, that's probably not going to be a problem because Troy Baker's voice in the game is very different from his real world voice. Okay. And so, he can take on a different character and he won't sound like I forgot the guy's name from The Last of Us.
It's a bit like Lord.
But Ellie, it is her voice. And so it'll be a little weird to have Ellie talking to potentially another character that's voiced by Ellie.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Booth is saying in the chat, it's $70. It's a full price game as well.
Yeah. Yep.
It's for the players,
For the payers. But yeah, so the TV show got the announcement. And then they also teased the multiplayer game that they've been talking about. So there was the Last of Us Factions game that had been announced. It was supposed to be part of Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
It has yet to ever come out. Well, now that will be a standalone game. They said it's going to be a huge game. It'll have story bits to it. And that will launch, I believe, sometime in 2023 is what they're shooting for. So they had just an image of it. They didn't show anything else from it. So kind of hard to get excited for that. But it is coming. And now standalone. So that was the Summer Game Fest show.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah. What was funny was, so the show ended and I had gotten up and walked away for a quick second and I came back and they had actually kicked in the Day of the Dev show. So I'm like kind of watching it, and I'm like, okay, this feels really weird. Are we just in like an indie section now of the show, or what? Turns out the show was over, and I was just watching another show. But so they have the Day of the Dev show. This is basically an indiecade focus show. Honestly, I was bored to pieces with it just based on the presentation of it. So I did not really pay that much attention to it. And it's unfortunate because I think the bigger problem was the Summer Games Fest show was 2 hours long. And so I was just kind of done. And I just had no desire to sit through another game show, reveal show. So I think Day of the Devs would have really benefited from being on a different day, or at least have a couple hours in between.
Wrong day for the Day of the Devs.
Yes.
Day of the Devs,
Something.
Day done gone wrong. Dev Des. Dev.
Now, something for Kim. Dragon Age Absolution was announced from Netflix during their broadcast. So this is going to be a cartoon miniseries coming out in December this year in the Dragon Age universe. So if you like Dragon Age and you like your cartoon, I won't call it anime, but anime-esque show, then there you go. Dragon Age Absolution. Okay. That brings us to today.
Today. This is the day.
Yes. Today is the day that the Xbox Bethesda showcase happened. And I think, to be perfectly honest, all eyes were on this showcase.
Okay. All eyes.
All eyes, including all four,
Pete, did you watch the
2
show?
and 2.
What show?
Did you watch it today?
What was he?
See, there's 2 eyes that weren't on it there. You're Canada Dry Man.
Do you know what? I actually did.
Oh,
I
good.
did.
So all eyes were on the show.
All eyes
All
on
eyes
the
were on
show.
it. Official.
We're on it.
Good.
The
Okay.
Pete's eyes is on it. That's it. Everybody's just on.
Slow news day.
I hate you guys. All right, here we go. The Xbox Bethesda showcase. Well, before we get on it, anything from the previous showcase, anything of that jump out to you as something like you might be interested in?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Aliens. Goat Simulator 3.
Okay. All right. I'm telling you now, you guys, the Callisto Protocol, you're going to be all over this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That. Yes, that.
Yeah. Okay. Xbox starts up. We
Let's
learned prior to the show coming out, Aaron Greenberg confirmed it was going to be 95 minutes. So just over an hour and a half.
Is that what 95 minutes is?
I hate you. So they started up the show, and they start off, honestly, a bit of a surprise to me, but with Redfall. Showed off Arcane Studios' new game. This is the either play it solo or cooperatively vampire hunting game.
Back 4 Blood, Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
A bit corn pop. Definitely looks like an Arcane style game. So it has that the movement and style of it.
It was bloodthirsty.
It was.
Jump scares. There's going to be everything in you on this game. Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will play this for sure. I think this is going to be a fun, community game. I think playing this solo is probably not going to be nearly as exciting as playing it with your friends. Very similar to Left 4 Dead. It's going to be better in co-op.
Yeah.
So we moved from that into an indie game, Hollow Knight Silksong, which I guess is the next of the Hollow Knight games. I was a little surprised that it was a weird start to the show. Let me just put this out there. I was a little thrown off by the way they started the show because then we retreated to another game.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
Hollow Knight has a massive following.
Right.
And anybody that liked Ori and the Flying Forest and stuff like that there will absolutely love Hollow Knight. It's such a massive game. And I put an awful lot of hours into Hollow Knight. And Pete, if you haven't played this, you would love this. This would be great.
I hadn't heard of this game up until 2 days ago, right? My son come back from school because he completed Cuphead, believe it or not. It's took us 2 years. And he was talking to his like assistant teacher at school. And his school teacher says, "Oh, you need to play Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Number one, because it's on Xbox and your dad might get it. So
Yep.
I had a look and there it was. Man, it's difficult, isn't it? This game.
Yeah. So it is Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead put together, I suppose.
Is it the same developer?
Yeah.
As Ori?
No.
Because it's very
No.
similar, isn't it?
No.
The art
It-
style, the sounds, it's very crisp, isn't it? It's great. But I mean, looking at the trailer and the gameplay of 2, it's like it's intense, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And you'll get the first one cheap if it isn't already in Game Pass or something.
It's on Game Pass.
Is
It's
it?
already
Yeah,
there.
well worth playing
Yeah.
for you. You'll enjoy that.
It's so good. I've already played it. I've played about 2 hours of it. It's
Very
brilliant.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. This is one of those games I did not play the first Hollow Knight, so I was kind of like, okay. But again, one of the things I think that Xbox really was striving for with the showcase is kind of games for everybody.
That's funny. My notes were brilliant, but very hard for a
Yeah.
moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Moving on to the next game. They showed off a game called High on Life, which was a first-person, and I have in here, funny game in that all of the guns have these little like animal faces on them, and they talk to you, and they say funny things as you're battling through.
So this is Rick and Morty,
Yes.
the fantastic cartoon. I mean, the voice work seems to be correct. It looks like a silly shooter. One of the things I wrote down
Yep.
was there's a point where in the demo that he pulls out a knife and the knife is alive, and Knifey says, "I need more stabbing," and I thought that was
stabbing.
I need
Yeah.
more stabbing. So yeah.
Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a lot of comparisons when I go through my comments, because that's what I felt like I did throughout the whole conference. I felt like I was referring to other games of what it reminded me of, and this one reminded me of like the art style and stuff, the gameplay, Ratchet and Clank. It was very pretty, very colourful, seemed very silly, and it just reminded me of Ratchet and Clank, and I felt like I was doing that across the whole conference, which I was just like, well, why am I doing all of this comparison? But there was nothing like, I mean, I know we're probably going to talk about it at the end and review it all, but there wasn't nothing that really struck out as new. I felt like I was comparing a lot, but anyway.
There is nothing new.
Well, that actually is a good segue for this next moment, which is Sarah Bond comes out on stage. She talks about kind of what this conference is, and they said they're doing something for the very first time, which is they're only going to be showing games that will be coming to Xbox or Game Pass in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So
she
nothing
was
beyond
wearing
that.
like a dress that was like made of 3 dresses. She's
Yeah,
on screen there.
I didn't pay attention to that at all, but okay. 3 dresses for the win. So we go from there into a announcement from Riot Games, where they basically say that they are partnering with Game Pass and that League of Legends, as well as League of Everything and Valorant are all going to be coming to Game Pass.
League of Legends, Wild Rift, Valorant, Legend of Rutina, and something else. So it's
Valorant. Yeah.
Card games and everything and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So all of that coming to Game Pass. So I'm assuming some of this is going to be Game Pass PC, like League of Legends. I don't see that being a console game. But adding to the war chest of Game Pass, and certainly there are plenty of people out there that are going to be curious enough to play these games. But I mean, League of Legends, if I'm not mistaken, it's already free to play. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's something.
I think most of the movement's on PC as well, isn't it? Rather than anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. We then get to see A Plague's Tale Requiem.
More rats.
So this is the follow-up, More Rats. I loved the first game. More of this. I'm all over it. It's coming to Game Pass in 2022.
I've not played this game, man. It looked brilliant. The game did this.
I think the first game is available on Game Pass. You might want to
Is
check
it?
it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, it looks so good.
Yeah, and this looks like a continuation of the story. The sister and brother, a bit
Yeah.
older, and it looks good. The other one looked beautiful. This looks beautiful again, but with rats.
Yep. I'm very excited for this. That's a
Can
good
command the
win.
rats? Is that what it is? Is that the whole rat thing, or is the rats just around? Because it felt like at one point, like one was summoning the rats or wanted to go forward.
The rats prove to be both a puzzle for you to have to solve at times. They also can be a weapon,
Right.
but they also can be, a trap for you, so to speak, that they could kill
Yeah.
you. So,
There's a rat in my kitchen. What am I going to do?
rat dynamics. There you go. All right, the next game announced.
Okay.
Robin had to have been so excited for this.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport, not Forza 8. Forza Motorsport
See?
will be coming in 2023.
Oh.
I did find it funny that they made the specific comment of they will have ray tracing on track, which is pretty much, kind of taking I think a dig at Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo has ray tracing, but it, just like the previous Forza game, it's only in the kind of car viewing mode where you're looking at the car.
Yeah. Okay.
This looks awesome.
So it looks absolutely. I took notes of this. So
Okay,
spring-
this is your moment, Robin. This is your moment to shine.
Ooh, Forza Motorsport is what I wrote. Spring 23, Maple Valley, which is a famous track, coming. Dynamic time of day lighting and all of that. It does look, it's real eye candy. But for me, I mean, the question, looks great. How does it drive? Because it was just eye candy. The temperature changes, the tire wear, lots of customization. That excites me a lot because even though Motorsport is a sort of simulator, playing a set course
Complanione.
Pasta. That level of customization is required. So it'll be interesting that they're getting that. The damage part of it that they showed looked really, really, really good. Things like the cars reflecting on the other cars, absolutely fantastic. One thing that they only showed like a split second of, and again, this appeals more to people that want to be semi and set up a wheel. They only had one very, very short clip of in-car footage. Everything was outside the cars. There was no cockpit footage, hardly. Only one tiny split second of it. And I'm very interested to see what those cockpit. I'm sure they'll be fine, but I just thought it was strange that wasn't in
Robin was really interested in what the cockpit cage looks like.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the cage that you sit in, and it's a cockpit. Yes, with your sweaty balls on the seat. Yeah.
I mean, we can just shorten it. It's a cock cage.
Do you want to go here? So again,
I'm so
yeah.
I'm so glad I'm converting everybody. I made some notes as well, Robin, and I it's not. I never even thought about the cockpit stuff, but I thought that pitch was all about the realism and the environment, and it was focused on a camera that was going all the way around the circuit, but it wasn't really showing much gameplay footage.
Yeah,
there was about
the weeds,
15.
like now on the screen, the weeds on the side of the road and the changing light and that. It does look gorgeous.
I mean, that reflection scene. There was a black car that would come next to a red one, and it was amazing. It was. You seen all the reflection of the car that was next to you. That it was the sunlight that you could see going over it as the car was passing by. You could see the different sparkles from the sunlight reflection and the environment at the background, and the reflection scene was just so good. But the actual gameplay that they showed was no different to Forza 5 or anything else. There was nothing.
Well, I think all of these racing games, the gameplay footage itself, I mean, because what we were treated to, they said it was a one camera take around the track, but you're basically using kind of the editing camera, so to speak, that you can pop in and pop out of, following a car or just being free floating.
Yeah, and there was the time advanced stuff, wasn't there? So
right.
You could advance time, and it showed different shadows overcasting the track, like you're going to see on the video footage now. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was so good.
I mean, day-night racing confirmed. Weather, they did say also confirmed. So
I get it. It looks fantastic. It'll probably be great. But the difference between now and Forza 4 and even Forza 3, which are absolutely fabulous and some of the games that I put the most time in, is now they're not the only really good semi-type racer on console.
Sure.
All right, okay.
Yes, there's lots of arcadey ones, stuff like that there, but like I said, of course, a competency money pasta is first rate. So it's
It's
that's
a
the
high
difference.
bar.
Yeah, it's a high bar now.
But your game, Robin, does not have real water trickling in the river next to the racetrack, and that was the
that's
big
it.
win for Forza.
Yeah. So, man, it's funny. I actually bought a new wheel today because I'm never getting my wheel back from Charlie. So, and I'm gonna. That's the wheel bought and pedals bought, the gear shifter bought today. Got them today, because I'm gonna buy a new rig. So that's
And I see the for sale sign on the pool table already. So apparently that's going.
So the wheels have been bought now. So that's just coming up to the bit now with the cars and the damage and stuff like that there. Yeah.
So have you got two rigs now, Robin?
Charlie has the big full racing rig in his room.
Yeah.
With my original wheel that I bought. So there's actually this clip on the screen now with the reflections in the black car, red car.
Oh, it's amazing that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna buy I bought the rig that I bought before was a second hand one I got, but I'm gonna buy a really good rig this time for myself.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna it's just be behind me here, just round the corner, facing into the big 65-inch TV. So
nice.
It'll be easy to work. So
that was the other thing about the scratches and stuff, the realism stuff. The direction of the scratches as well are a true reflection as to how you hit the wall and other cars, aren't they?
So if you think,
that was cool.
How much work they've done graphically with Forza Horizon, that's shared asset stuff there. That's learning from that. So they put the two together. So the beauty of Forza Horizon with hopefully the realism of Forza Motorsport. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I believe this is a next-gen only game.
I'm sure
so it's not coming to the original Xbox,
although
you will be able to play it via cloud on an original Xbox.
There you go. Or on your Samsung TV. Yep.
There you go. All right. From there, we moved into Flight Simulator. They announced helicopters and gliders being added to the game in November of this year.
40 years old is this game. 40.
I've never played it once.
Well,
I feel so embarrassed.
You can cloud it. You can cloud game it right now, anytime you want. I mean, for all of the flight sim buffs out there, this is pretty exciting news. I mean, I'm not the biggest flight sim person, so I'm kind of like, it might be fun to play with. I will crash a helicopter.
Yeah, but once you do it once, you don't want to do it again.
But then,
I was going to say, surely you open your mouth at the last bit, though.
Oh yeah, because then they had this extra little bit, which made me say, "Fuck, I got to play this game." Which is. They're adding the Halo, real world Pelican, because that's a thing. But the Pelican is being added to Flight Simulator and available today. So
into space as well.
You can go take it up into space.
Atmosphere.
Yep.
Without having played Halo, I wouldn't have noticed that before. But when I seen that scene, I was like, Greg is gonna blow his nuts now, and it's this.
God, have you ever seen him trying to blow his nuts? It's unbelievable.
Well,
it takes a little energy. Yeah. Anyway, so that was announced, available today. I did have to chuckle a little bit because that was spoiler here. That was our Halo reference for the show. That was the only time it made the show, which I thought was interesting. Then we were treated to Overwatch 2. So I never got into Overwatch, but obviously it was a massively popular game. A lot of people were, playing some of the beta earlier. There were, I think, a lot of people that were loving it and people were hating it because they wanted some new heroes. Well, they announced new heroes in this, so we do have a set of new heroes coming into the game. That will be free to play, I guess, early access launching October 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, sorry, my notes for Overwatch 2 were Overwatch 2.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I've got one thing then. There was a free for all. Did you notice that at the end? I think that's a new addition to the game. So they've got a free for all option there where it looks like an arena, and 4 or 5 of you get thrown into this arena and fight it out. So there's no rules. You just gotta kick ass. And whoever wins. And I thought that was like my take on that it was going to be some online player versus player type option. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I got from that. And it was
that was what I'm right there with you, Pete. That was the vibe I was getting. So,
Yeah. Okay.
we'll see. Were either of you ever play Overwatch, the first one?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
Briefly. Not
Kids
much.
played
Okay.
a lot. Charlie played it a lot. Joshua played it a
Yeah.
lot.
It's still big now on PC. Yeah, my daughter plays it a lot on Steam, through
right.
Steam. Yeah.
Free to play.
Okay. Well, the next game, I thought for sure this was a Civilization game. And I mean, it is in some respects, but it was called ARA History Untold.
Yeah.
And the voice actor is from The Expanse. The voice,
Okay.
that rich woman's voice is the president in The Expanse series.
Okay.
So that's what caught me. Sort of
But
steampunkish sort of thing, turn-based. They did say turn-based.
It didn't give a lot. So they
No.
really didn't say much about the game. It was kind of it was a CGI trailer for it. So we didn't really get any gameplay for this game. So again, my take on this is I think it's going to be a Civilization-like game, maybe a little bit more console friendly because I think this is coming to the consoles. And I thought they said turn-based strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a feeling it was like a Phil type game. This.
Yeah. Phil type game. That's the new genre. We should just tell everybody, please incorporate this genre into your genre list. All right. From there, we then had Pete Hines on stage. He started talking about Bethesda games in the works, talks a little bit about Redfall, then talks about Elder Scrolls Online High Isle, which will be coming out next week. It's an expansion for Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
He then talked about everybody's favorite game, Fallout 76, and that the Expeditions of the Pit will be releasing in September.
How disappointing.
And then he hinted at Starfield, and I thought for sure we were getting Starfield next.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's Playground Games, and we're seeing Horizon 5 DLC.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, the Hot Wheels expansion. This did leak, I think, a couple weeks back.
It's no surprise.
It looks fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
It does.
The Hot Wheels DLC on Forza Horizon 4 was great. Forza Horizon 4.
Forza
Horizon 4.
4 is a different
I
game.
hate you. I don't like you anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, Hot Wheels DLC. It's going to be fun. I think it'll just be a blast to just get in there and just go crazy.
Yeah.
Next up, my note was Vin Diesel game.
When I saw him, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Arc 2. So this is coming in 2023. It'll be a Game Pass game. I don't know what to make of this.
I just seen Vin Diesel.
I tried to play the first one. I could not get into it at all.
I thought
so.
I got real, and I know it has been out for ages, but I got real Horizon Zero Dawn vibes. So sort of this thing, especially when the young girl appears on the back of the pony.
Yep. I mean, I would have thought that would have been what this is. Maybe it still is. I hope it is not like the original Arc game, because that to me was just boring as all get out.
Okay.
But
cool.
we'll see. Who knows? Next up, your goth horror game, if you will, Scorn. This is a first-person shooter. It's got just all kinds of just gross kind of looking stuff to it.
Yeah, I wrote gross shooter horror gothic Scorn October.
There you go.
I wrote there's too much of the same color. It looked like there was a whole lot going on, but it looked like everything was just all the same color, and you just couldn't
grays
make
and
anything out on the
blacks.
screen. I was
Grays
like,
and blacks.
oh, it's so disappointing.
The only thing I did notice was early on when they first show your character, it looks like you are kind of gray and almost like a skeleton. But later in the gameplay, you see the arms now have like flesh and they seem like they're human. So maybe that's part of the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd imagine you evolve to that. It's to a human state, because you start off as a skeleton, don't you? And you pull off like the umbilical cord or whatever it was out of your stomach. It was gross.
Next up, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. This will be coming early in 2000. 2023. This kind of looks interesting to me. This was the third-person view. I don't want to say steampunk, but it has kind of that steampunk magic vibe to it.
Hack and slash girl.
Yeah.
Wasteland, gothic, magic powers, monsters, a cute dog sidekick.
Yes, that's right. The little dog that helps you fly. I do wonder also if this might have a little bit of kind of that. I don't know. I don't want to say roguelike, but oh god, I just totally drawn it. Dark Souls.
Okay.
A little bit of a Dark Souls vibe to it, and I could be totally off base there. Maybe not, but I got that from kind of that look. Then we were. It was exciting for like a second, new Mojang game, right?
Yeah.
Mojang Studios, the developers of
Nothing,
Minecraft, and I was like excited. What did they possibly make? And it's just more Minecraft. Minecraft Legends.
But it does look like a strategy your game that you're bringing your foes to fight, and
Unite the overworld.
Yeah, maybe it's
Yeah, I mean they call it an action strategy game.
I don't know.
But what was interesting also, I should point out, is the look of the game towards the last third of the game as they were describing it. It changes.
Yeah, it got a bit down quality or something, didn't it? It didn't look as good.
Well, it didn't look as Minecrafty. I guess that would be my. So like the characters, the textures on the different blocks had more of a cartoony look to them.
Yeah.
As opposed to, a very digitized look.
Yeah, I felt sorry for villagers.
Villagers always get screwed.
Villagers happy. Yeah, attacked by pigs. Pretty. United overworld. Yeah, Minecraft Legends action strategy. Okay, yeah, well, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a following.
Yep. I'm sure it will do great. People will love it because they love Minecraft. Next, we had Lightyear Frontier, and I honestly don't recall what this game was. I don't have the notes.
I'm surprised because there's mechs in it, and it's like a mech, like a.
That's right.
It's
yes.
a big farmer, like a farm tractor mech.
I remember now.
Kim's daddle of this here, sort of cartoonist farming, building, crops, trading, and a mystery to solve.
Yes.
So
I've not got that game on my notes. That's weird. I must have.
This was you show up and it's like a red mech, and you are creating a farm.
Yeah.
The farming part of it might lose me. The mech part kind of sucks me in. So I don't know. We'll see. We then saw an indie game called Gunfire Reborn. That'll be coming in October. Yeah,
that didn't get me a time.
Then we had this one. Actually looks really cool to me. The Last Case of Benedict Fox.
Okay, yeah. So I wrote it's a side scroller mystery, my sort of thing. Cool visuals, and Benedict Fox, is he a detective? But it
kind of. I thought that's what he was. He almost looked like a Sherlock Holmesy kind of person.
Benedict Fox, yeah. Is it?
Do you know what this reminded me of? What was that game that you mentioned earlier that was 30 years old?
That was.
Anyway,
I'll get to it. Flashback.
It reminded me of that and Another World. Do you remember Another World on the Amstrad?
Yeah,
where everybody's like very elongated and slim and like very stretched.
Yeah.
But it just kind of reminded me of that.
Inside and that sort of thing as well. And then
but it was
interesting.
Cool.
Is it ginger? That's probably why you liked it.
Oh. You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway.
All right. So from there, then we get treated to As Dusk Falls, which is an interactive story with kind of a unique graphic style to it. It's funny. I was kind of down on this game because we saw this game before they had made the announcement on this, and it didn't really grab me. However, as I was watching this kind of gameplay look at this game, I grew more interested in this. It's an interactive game, so you're going to be picking and choosing, and your choices have consequences.
Yeah, it like
that comes out
Become Human.
A little bit.
It looks like the game can go in loads of different directions.
Right.
But with the comics, it got like a comic sketch style then with the animation. But it was cool.
Yeah, July 19th. So it's coming soon.
It does sort of look like it had mini games in it as well, not just all of the story stuff. It looked like some of the artwork was very, very different than the
Yeah, it's like the real the world environments felt very kind of realized, if you will, and then the characters though always were kind of that flat. I don't want to call it cell shaded because that's not the right word, but flat images of people.
Solo
anyway.
or multiplayer up to 8 players. So that's weird.
It reminds me of.
Did I just read that correctly? Is that what it said? Let me just check that again.
I don't remember that, but I remember it just reminded me of like Life is Strange. You get emotionally invested in this type of game.
Yep.
Yeah. Experience solo or multiplayer up to 8 players.
Oh wow!
Up to 8 players. Okay, this is where 8 players came into my head from before.
July 19th. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, good
8
recovery.
players. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can only see that looks like Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yeah, I can see that.
It's the co-op stuff. Eat a dick. All right, Naraka. Naraka was next.
PUBG with swords. Yeah.
PUBG with swords, battle royale, 60 players. This could be interesting. I don't know. I mean, until I actually see it, the gameplay and what it's like, I don't know what to make of it other than it could be cool. But again, I think to win, you're going to have to be like a sword master, so to speak. And I don't know that I'll put enough time into that to ever get that.
Yeah.
Probably my least favorite game of the entire show, Pentiment.
I didn't even
Only because I wasn't really paying attention, and the visuals on this just didn't, nothing about this excited me.
They're gonna rave about it. They're gonna say how wonderful it is, and all that sort of stuff.
It was awful. Just looked like a hyped up, like it's like a souped up like Amstrad or like Commodore game. It was horrendous, man. So it was a narrative adventure game, wasn't it?
Weird,
from
isn't it?
some historic period somewhere. I don't know, but it's crap.
I was actually
That's
watching
the official,
hoping
the official
that it was
podcast stance.
Going to turn into some, because this is the people that did, I think, Inside that made this. And I actually thought that I thought it was going to turn into some big fantastic thing that, like, it started like this and then it opened up as, but no, it looks like this is the style of graphics. Obsidian.
No, this is an Obsidian side project game. That's right.
So they did all the little fighting games. So I expected
Too much reading as well.
There's
a lot of reading. Yeah.
Anyway, day one you'll be able to play it anyway with your free.
The next game shown, Grounded, so officially out of its early access. It will be launching in September with the actual campaign. I'm actually kind of excited to get back into this world. I've been like seeing the updates that have been happening through its early access stuff. This game went from being something I never was really interested in when it was first announced, and then having played it, I was like, they've got something here. But the story was never ever something that was part of the original beta.
Yeah.
And so you kind of felt a little bit lost on what to do and how to just kind of progress. This hopefully will be a fully fleshed out, like actual good campaign you can go through and play. So I'm cautiously optimistic for this.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yep.
Yeah, Pete, don't shake your head. Give it a try.
I played the beta, but I think it's just been so long, hasn't it, since we've been able to have access to this game, and it just feels like, I don't know, it's just too late for me. I ain't gonna go back to it.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, fair play, man. Fair play.
Okay,
A Reborn, Shadow Legacy, and I think that's how you say it. It looks interesting. Kind of got a little bit of an anime vibe to it. You're a shadow character. I've
stealth
picked up
stuff, isn't it? This.
The stealth movement is that you turn into like I'll call it the smoke monster from Lost, and but you move by staying in the shadows. So to move, you have to traverse in the shadows.
You know they're all dead.
Yes, spoiler. Anyway, it could be very cool. This could be a total mess. I don't know.
It's like Hitman cartoon style with. This is what I was comparing it to, Hitman, because it's very stealth.
Okay, you ready?
Ready, the big one.
I've never
So
played this.
this started, and I went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, not more horror stuff! I have had enough. This is too satanic for me." And then I went, "Oh, Robin, you're so wrong, so wrong." So we're talking about Diablo here, and I wrote satanic stuff, not for me. Uh-oh. I hate the visuals of the intro, but then the game stuff started, and I love the Diablo games. Again, played them over and over and over again. But this, it just looks such a step forward graphically, game wise, than anything from before. It just looks absolutely awesome.
So what I got from this, they said it was the Diablo 4. There's the final class. So is this going to be the last ever making of this game? Or
No,
it was just
no, Pete. This is so they have
Necromancer.
5 classes of players you can. So there's a necromancer, there's a wizard, there's a barbarian.
Yeah.
I think 2 others.
Okay.
So they announced the wizard was shown, or sorry, the necromancer was shown off today. Wizard. So interesting things from this. One, this was all Xbox Series X gameplay that they showed. It looks fantastic. So I think anybody playing on console can rest assured they're getting a pretty high level game. It has open world elements to it, which I thought was kind of interesting, kind of an open world vibe to it.
I got that on my notes. Yeah.
It kind of was
cross-play with
before.
PC.
It was weird. I mean, they have these strongholds in it now, which reminds me of like Far Cry. That your stronghold is there. Where in the original one, you could go and clear an area, and you could kill every single monster, and you went back, and the place was just deserted, and nothing really.
Right.
It didn't change. It was just empty, and if you got lost on the map, it was sort of open world. But if it was lost on the map, you could be wandering around for ages. So this will be kind of cool that it's like strongholds. You go in, and the areas turn into nice little towns as you free them. So I just love Diablo, that top down.
And for Pete, 2-player couch co-op.
Yeah, I've seen that.
As well as cross-play with PC. So
yeah, I've got that on my I've got that on my notes. That looked pretty good.
And then they also talked about PvP. So there's a PvP element to this as well. So
champions.
Yeah. Also important to think about, because I don't think they actually gave a release time window at all, but based on this show, we know this is coming between now and June 2023.
Yeah. It just says
2023, I think. Yeah.
And I put here, I mean, this is the star so far of the show for me. So everything I've seen so far, this is even more so than Forza because of the unknowns this year. Wow.
It looks good.
So what I got from this as well, because I've never played this before, and when it said that it was the final class, it looked like they said that they were going to like focus their support for future play, so they was going to expand it a lot and add a lot of stuff to it, and that's why I thought, well, is this the final part to it? And that was like the necromancer was the final class to the group, and he wouldn't go any further. So
I mean, you could be right, Pete. I mean, this because they did say they're supporting this for years.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the game.
This is the platform.
The other thing, I mean, I got the PvP as well. It said that anybody who's really good at this game as well will shine straight away, but you'll be given a champion title almost. You'll be given an entitlement in online gameplay, and you'll be highlighted. But it also could be detriment to your online gameplay because you could have loads and loads of people then wanting to fight you, which I found was pretty cool.
In the PvP thing,
but this also raises a little bit of a question to me. So it's like, is this one of those things, kind of like Invasions? You turn it on or turn it off.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I thought the title just come with someone who was just really, really good at the game, and I didn't realise that you could probably turn that off. But one of the
things that from the last game, I loved how easy it was just to drop into somebody's game and give them a hand, even if you were a much higher level. You could jump into their game, and it was so easy to do that. It was so you didn't have to organise about you have to be there at exactly 9 o'clock. But if you're there 9:05, you just jumped in and away you go, and brilliant, really good.
I've never played any of these games before. It looks extremely difficult. No, And the other thing that really made my jaw drop was the boss that appeared, because it mentioned about the numerous
world
boss
event
fights that you got, and this guy appears like this big, huge, like ogre, and he got all gold chains and gold blocks, and he was puking gold, and it just looks so pretty. And I was just like, I might. Do you think I should go back and play a previous one, or do you think I could just go ahead and?
I would at minimum play Diablo 3.
Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's worth playing.
It was a massive step forward, Pete, in the way it controls.
Was it?
In fact,
I think you'll enjoy it, Pete.
PC guys,
it's pretty easy to pick up.
It's one of those.
It's not challenging.
I think it was one of the first games where PC players went away from the keyboard to controller, because the controller layout was so good on the controller. It's one of those things where you start off light, so you'll maybe have a couple of basic powers, and away you go, and as it progresses, it's teaching you the controls and how to advance your powers, and all of a sudden you're doing the stuff that's on the screen there, and it looks really difficult, but all of a sudden you're overpowered and you're moved up, and it's really cool. You're killing guys all over the place.
I made a huge amount of notes on this game. I don't know why, and it was just like, it's something I've never heard of before. But I made loads of notes, and the one last thing that I'll mention is that the Necromancer reminded me of the White Walker from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
With the blue eyes, it was just like, I don't know. There was just some feature there that I just thought, maybe that's that inspiration. But anyway,
very excited for this.
I'm going on.
And Kim says, play Diablo 3, and I would recommend it. Yeah, absolutely. Diablo 3 is fabulous. I mean, this is
agreed. Agreed on all fronts. Next game that we saw. This is the game I really want to like. I just have never been able to fully get into it. But Sea of Thieves.
The drum keeps on beating.
This is my favorite trailer.
That's brilliant. The song.
It's a fun trailer. Yeah, fun trailer.
So cool.
They're singing through kind of the update, if you will, for season 7 for Sea of Thieves. So they're talking about all these new customizations you can do, and that will be releasing July 21st. If you're a Sea of Thieves fan, this is great news. They continue to support this game, and this is just talking about the game itself, a success story in that when it launched, the community itself was, I think, pretty anti Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
They were questioning the game. Nobody really kind of understood it. And they have stuck with it. They have poured a lot of time and support. Yeah. And now they're on to season 7, and it still seems like it has a very good player base and players playing through that. So yeah, good on them.
I've never played this one either.
We might have to try and get an online session at some point. I think that could be fun. I think it's evolved enough.
Phil loves it.
I mean, the trailer was just amazing, and I loved it. How it's like it was basically a song, wasn't it? That featured everything that there was being put into the new update. And I look, even the start, when the cartoon character at the start dropped the scroll, and it got all of the new features on the scroll. But the biggest focus, I think, for the whole song was that you can be your own captain. But again, I don't know what that means to this game. Yeah, I don't know. I've not played this, but yeah, that was the focus, I think.
All right. Next game was Ravenlock. I did not make any notes on this, so
just too much for me. I think it was too much for me.
I think the gameplay and just the preview that we got, which was very small, reminded me of It Takes Two, and that was a game I played recently. Yeah, it was very colourful, very pretty. It looked kind of like almost a small open world type game, but yeah, and there was fantastic details on the characters as well. Very intricate like designs on them, and but apart from that was all I put.
Okay, all right. The next game, titled Cocoon, this will be coming in 2023. I believe this is the developer from Limbo and Inside. Yeah, I called this the Butterfly Man game. So you have this character. Inside. He kind of looks like he's a little butterfly guy. It looks bonkers. Yep. There's these orbs that he's putting on top of orbs, and he's traveling to other worlds. And visually, it looks fantastic. I'm kind of excited for this game,
Yeah.
but I don't understand this game at all.
No.
I have no idea what's going on other than you are born out of this little cocoon and suddenly you can carry these orbs on your
Orbs,
back
and
between
I
your
was like-
wings.
Yeah, it was like you use these like portals, and they're inside a portal of another portal, inside of inside of inside. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Limbo and Inside were such mind-blowingly wonderful games. I don't know. Is this?
This is our
have they
game of
done
the
it
year.
again?
You know that, right?
Have
Yeah.
they done it again? Yeah, probably.
But
I don't know.
it wasn't just the graphics though. Even the sounds, the synthesizer music. It was just perfect.
Okay.
It was just so sweet. I love. Yeah, I'd like to play this game as well.
I didn't. It was this shot at the end here. It's going on TV now, where it was like you zoom out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Yep.
Inside, and there's a big monster thing overhead. I don't know. It's just yeah. It looked like a frustrating puzzle game where their other games were quite linear. There was a route to
Right.
follow and a story to follow. I don't know. Maybe it'll be fantastic. Maybe.
We shall see. The next game. So at first I got kind of excited because I saw Team Ninja. And then I realized, I think, what Team Ninja is most notably famous for now, which is the Dynasty Warrior games, if I recall correctly. So
More Blood and
Wu Long Fallen Dynasty was announced. It's coming early 2023. This was the Japan moment of the the show.
Not quite.
No.
No, not quite, but this is the start of it. I don't know what to make of this game other than probably not a game I'll be playing, but who knows?
I'm so glad. What did you think, Robin? Did you think the same
It was
as
the
well?
blood
Like-
and guts and gore again. It's
Yeah.
swords.
But my notes was, what is this bloody game? And a laughing face emoji. I couldn't get it.
There's just so much going on the screen. Yeah, it was visually impressive, but what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Then Phil took the stage. And so Phil starts talking about Japan, the importance of Japan. And then he announces that Atlas is returning with some of their games. And then we were treated to a montage of Persona games, which I was having a hard time keeping up with what the hell was on screen. But
Fast.
Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4, and I forgot what the Persona 4 game is. There's like a sub name to it. So it's P3P, PS4, and Persona 5 Royal are coming to Xbox, which is big because Persona games have never been on Xbox before.
Yeah, so
And
wacky.
the first game, Persona 5 Royale, will be coming in October of this year.
I have
So-
missed this in my life. ... forever. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to try. I'm sorry. I know people
It's-
love them. It's almost a religion. But no, this is just too. It is just way too far for me.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you like it. Great. But not for me.
No.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be high on my playlist, like as in not making it. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I come around on it. Doubtful. Then probably the big
Funny.
confirming. So it's interesting because this entire showcase they talked about, these are all games coming in 2023. The next 12 months.
Yep.
This game that's being announced is not coming in the next 12 months. It's probably not coming in the next 2 years.
That's where they moved on. Yeah. Phil
But
said,
they did,
yeah.
Phil basically announced, and then they push it over to Kojima, and he announces that they have a new game partnership that he's building this new cloud-based game, and he's excited to be able to show us something sometime in the future, but he has nothing to show us now. So massive win for Xbox getting a Kojima game, which I have to think is going to be probably Xbox and PC. I think that will be the kind of the way he satisfies, not pissing off everybody. But this is a big get for Xbox to get Kojima making a game for xCloud.
I did laugh. I
yeah,
laughed when he said, it may take some time. It may take some time is what I wrote down. Yeah.
Yep,
Could be a
it may take
long
some time. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have a screenshot of nothing, no concept, nothing. We have no idea what this game is, other than it is going to use xCloud technology in some fashion.
Yeah.
So there we go. Kojima officially making an Xbox game that we have no idea what it is. And then, it transitioned to Starfield, and Todd Howard comes on stage.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Can I just say as well, Tom Howard reminds me of Marty McFly's dad from Back to the Future. You know, George McFly. The way his voice was, it was just, I don't know. His voice. I didn't look up at the screen. I was just listening to his voice. I was like, oh my god, that's George McFly.
George McFly with a great tan.
And the leather jacket. Yes, leather jacket.
The leather jacket. Looking good. Todd on stage. Basically, so here are my quick notes from it. The first opening bit, it's basically you're landing on a moon called Crete. You can play in first person or third person.
Yeah.
There's going to be major character creation and customization to the game. You'll also be able to unlock skills and rank the skills up by using them. So once you unlock them, you have to use them to rank them up.
Yeah.
There's going to be crafting, outpost building. And important, I think, prior to this, when he was kind of announcing some of these different components, he said they were trying to take the best of their other games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls and build that into this game. So my hope is that the outpost building is going to have a slightly better model than Fallout 4 had, because I didn't think the outpost building in Fallout 4 was all that intuitive. Kind of drove me nuts a little bit at times.
Oh, I loved it though. I loved that.
Okay. I mean, I loved it, but I could never get it all to work right.
No, it was very janky. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's hope there's better polish. But yeah, so you'll be able to. This is where I got excited. Is you can build your own ships. You can customize them. Cool. The look, the layout. You can actually crew your ship as well.
Yeah.
And you will fly your ship. So it's not just a kind of the one big knock on the Bungie game. Again, my mind is just a freaking wash of blankness. But your ship was never actually a ship you pilot. It's just something for a cutscene to show you coming down to the planet.
Yeah.
This is, you'll actually take off, fly, you'll be in space, you'll have combat. And then he finished with over 1,000 planets and 100 different systems to explore. And the interesting thing is the planets.
By that, actually.
Yeah. Well, because it felt to me very Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
And Mass Effect, you had all of these planets. You could go explore these planets, but the reality is, most of the planets had nothing on them. So what I did see that was interesting is when you were looking at the planet view, they would point to like a structure or a city that was on the planet.
Yeah.
And my guess is you go to that area and you'll have maybe story beats or whatever that, is going to be a little bit more interactive than, say, just landing on the far side of the planet. You can explore, you might be able to find stuff, but there's not going to be a hub world in that area.
Well, it did highlight that you could land anywhere on the planet.
Yes.
So I don't think I don't think you could just I don't think there's going to be any fixed points unless probably it will highlight the ones that you've explored.
The shooty stuff looked good.
Yeah.
Huh?
The shooty stuff looked much better. The shooty shit. That looked a lot better than previous Bethesda games.
Yeah.
In terms of I think about Fallout and their shooting mechanics. While good, still felt. I mean, I think they were massively helped by having a VAT system. This didn't feel like I don't think there's going to be any kind of VAT system in this at all. So it's just going to be your standard first person or third person shooting. It does look like there's going to be a lot of dynamic elements to the shooting, though. I did notice at one point you get up on the platform and there's a guy in front of you and you shoot his rocket pack and he goes flying off and it kind of explodes.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Starfield.
Epic, League Massive and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot that has to compete with. If we go back even to our Fallouts or the spacey exploration game with the dinosaurs, the people on the kazoo with, what's it called? You fly to the middle of the universe and it's been updated forever. Massive game, massive, and you build bases and build ships and discover new species. You know, so there's
We just had an update for it on the Sony State of Play.
Yeah, that big massive one somebody done the Jurassic Park with a kazoo because the dinosaurs didn't look what they were supposed to look like.
Yep.
So you've got that, you've got Elite, and then the Elite going down under the ground and all. You know, there's a lot of competition there. But if they get all of the component parts right, what I didn't like about this was the mech that came out of the ship and it's been popped down. It really looked clunky.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so it's more like a drone.
Okay.
It's a robot. It's not it's not a manned mech. So when you see the mech coming out of the ship, you're actually following it in first person view.
And also a bit was just on the screen now is that uncanny valley stuff that the facial characters were just okay. That didn't look like a big step
Some were better
forward.
than others.
Yeah.
But again, also very much that traditional Bethesda.
Yeah.
You're talking to them. They kind of take center of the screen.
Yeah.
But at least it's not just their face this time. In the early Elder Scrolls games.
Anyway, yeah.
And by the way,
No Man's Sky.
important-
That's it. Thank you, Kim.
No Man's Sky, and Kim saved herself from being taken off the show by giving us that little tidbit of information because I was ready to fire her ass.
No, but that's. I just want to mention the notes that I put on about the game because I love the first one, but the one thing I found about this is it looks like as part of you're building your own site or whatever it is complex. You can. It looks like you can do a lot of scanning. That was the first scene that you got. So when you landed in Crete, right. I thought it was gonna go like landing Crete or something. When it said Crete, I was like, oh no. And then anyway, landed on this planet called Crete, 2330 it was. And you could scan plants and objects, and you can break away rocks, and you could take samples away. And I think that's all part of building your own, your own complex. But the one thing I found that I didn't like straight away from Crete was I don't like how when you killed something, the XP come up in the middle of the screen. I found that really distracting. And I know it's only like it's a really, really little thing, but I just felt like there's this silver block that kept on appearing in the middle of the screen and it wouldn't go away and it was disrupting your view. So that really peed me off. And
I will say this, Pete. My guess is you will be able to turn off because I know a lot of games that have kind of XP and hit point markers. You can turn those on and off.
I would hope so. I would really hope for that as well because I found that really annoying. But I noticed as well that the gameplay when there was in Crete and there was in like battle scenario was glitching a lot. And I'm hoping that they kind of eventually sort that out. But it was glitching. There was a lot of.
There was a wee stutter, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, and I really hope they sort that out by the time they get to releasing it. And then from Crete, it went to New Atlantis, which is it was almost like it was focusing more on the environment rather than gameplay, I think. And it looked like to me that there was 3 or 4 gangs like there was in Fallout 4. You got your you got your Outland. I can't remember the names of them now. There was there's something of Steel. What they called?
Yeah.
Oh God, Brothers of Steel.
Brotherhood of Steel.
Brotherhood of Man.
And
Brotherhood of Man. I think it was called.
Brotherhood of Steel. And then there was the Outlaws, and then it looked like that there was gangs because it was showing you different signs of all these places that different communities within New Atlantis. So I didn't know whether there was like gangs that you can sign up to, and you could create your own mob almost, so to speak. So I didn't know whether that was like a thing because that's what happened in Fallout. You had to go down a route in the campaign where you'd chosen certain people that you wanted to follow, and I felt like that was going in that direction, like Fallout.
I think you're going to have some of that, Pete. I do. Yeah. I did get the same vibe of like there's factions that you can side with.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll have your initial exploration faction that you sign up to. That's the kind of the main driver of you going out to space. Yeah. And then my guess is you're going to come across these other factions, and you're either going to have to play nice with them or wage war.
Yeah.
So,
So in New Atlantis, I put the crafting weapons, building your own base and spaceship. You can customize your look, your layout on the ship, and everything else. And there's also the skill tier, which you mentioned as well, which is very much like Fallout, isn't it? It's going that way, but in a new, different environment now, which I thought was pretty cool. But because of that and the 1,000 planets, I just thought, like Robin said, he was overwhelmed. Is it too much? It felt like that it was just an absolute massive stuff that they had delivered to you, and you just think you probably wouldn't even explore 75% of that game the way they delivered it. If you just played the campaign, you'd have probably just left tons and tons of this development and money that they've stuck into it, all for nothing. I don't know.
well, I mean,
it just looked like a lot.
Fallout games had some of that kind of similar vibe to it, right? I mean, there was tons and tons of stuff to explore.
They did, but they give it you in snippets. They give you different expansion packs that you could buy and download, and it wasn't like you had to go down that path. You was given options, whereas that they just put it all on a table and went, right, here we go. You got all that to look at. I don't know. It just felt a lot for me.
I mean, it definitely, I think on the surface, if you just look at it on paper, I agree. It feels like a shit ton of stuff. But my hope is there's like the story campaign that will take you down a more curated path. And then the other stuff can be
brilliant, with the spaceship now, going to the space, not just fighting in space, but going to a space station out there, like a big platform in space.
We've not even mentioned that, have we? The space fighting, it looks that's another element to the game. It's nuts. Yeah, there's a lot in that game. It's
there definitely is a lot to it. So kind of like The Witcher 3. Witcher 3, there's a ton of side quests within that game, but if you mainline the story, it's a fairly manageable story to get through.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm hoping is Starfield, like the main story, it'll have enough direction for you that you're not going to ever feel lost, like you don't know what you're doing.
Mark's going to love getting this big HOTAS out again. There'll be controller and HOTAS time.
He's going to be angry. It's probably not HOTAS compatible. And that was the show. So it finished up on the big Starfield extended look, and it was a good extended look. I mean, I think it lasted for about 15 minutes. So you got a lot of info about the game. They still are only saying 2023. It's interesting, though, because we did get an announcement from Bethesda saying that they are now just polishing the game. So maybe they're working to get rid of some of the jank that you guys were talking about. Hopefully that's the case. Okay. They've got some time to do it the rest of this year, if nothing else. So here's a question I have for the two of you. What comes first, Redfall or Starfield? I mean, they're both coming first, first half of next year. We know that for a fact. But which game comes first, do you think?
Redfall,
never really that sharp at getting stuff out. So
yeah.
All right. Okay. Overall grades. What would you guys give? Let's give the showcase and overall grades. I gave the Summerfest a C plus.
That's what you'd watch in E3 anyway. So they did E3. There wasn't any corny people trying to play a game together. Come on, Jim, over here. Drugs here. So it was all right. All of the doom and gloom about there's nothing coming in Microsoft. Well, there's good stuff coming, and there's some gems in here as well. So I'm happy with the stuff that's coming. I'm happy with the stuff that I have, but I'm happy with the stuff that's coming, and so there's some really interesting pieces in there as well. So between Starfield, yes, I can wait for that. I will go back to Sea of Thieves. Diablo, absolutely fabulous for me. That Benedict Fox thing looks really, really interesting for me too. And the Forza 5 add-ons. Elder Scrolls, that High Isle thing tickled me fancy to go back to that again too. So and of course Forza Motorsport. So yeah.
What's your grade, Robin? What's your grade?
That's a good solid 8. for quality of shows,
Okay.
games and stuff there.
All right.
You know, good quality. I'm not
8 out of 10 from Robin.
I'm not
Pete?
complaining what I've seen there.
Are we
and you
doing
can
it
go
out of 10?
Either or. You can do letter grade or you can do a number grade. It's your call.
All right. Well, I thought letter grade, which is a B plus, and I was a little bit disappointed that there was no mention of a Gears 6 or a Battle Royale of Gears or just something Gears. That was the only thing. But overall, I mean, the show itself, and they said that it would mainly show gameplay and preview, and it did that. It delivered it really well, I think. I mean, I've made a lot of notes there. I was quite. It captivated me. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good show. There was nothing, like Robin said, there was no cheesy moments where there was two people trying to play a game and things went to shit, or the connection went, or the telly broke, or whatever. It was just gameplay. It was what we wanted to see. And compared to, because I didn't see any of the other show, and compared to what you mentioned in all of the other Games Fest stuff, the games that were delivered on that presentation seemed to be generating a lot more interest and wanted you to just lean more towards Microsoft and Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, because the service is just amazing. I think it just is. Yeah, it deserves a good grade, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I kind of was leaning B plus, kind of right in that range. I think I was disappointed also, kind of like you, Pete, that there wasn't some of the more further out announcements. When they said they were going to only be showing games in the next 12 months, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, let's see what they show. I think they showed a lot of good stuff. But I wanted to see the farther out stuff too. I don't have a problem having, a game that's going to be coming out in, 2 years time to be shown off. But then again, the other part of this that I thought about was, well, Gamescom is coming in August. So that's the other big show that they likely are going to be there. So maybe, just maybe, that's where we get some of those announcements. Since this was all focused on this year, maybe that show, they show off a Gear 6, maybe, again, I thought it was interesting. There was Halo was not in this show at all, with the exception of Flight Simulator and being able to fly the Pelican.
But just doing something like a bit of a, I really do hope they bring Battle Royale into Gears. I don't know why. I think it's the whole chainsaw thing and the executions. But even if it was just something like the cog spinning round in a 6, and then the armadillo car just dropping off like one of the people out into the battle zone, and like they're running around and chainsawing people, and then that was it. Just something, right. just a little bit of something of what's going to appear in the next like 2 or 3 years would have been great. But anyway, overall I think it was good.
Yeah, no, I do as well. All right, so now that we're done with the show and the E3-ness, just thoughts. Do we need E3? Does this week justify? Because E3 has talked. The ESA has said they're going to come back next year. So do we need an E3 week? Is it worth it, or do we just say no? We don't need an E3. We can just take these individual events as they come.
Well, we've mentioned before, E3 turned into an EGX, where it was community coming to see games that there, and if you got tickets to them, because the Microsoft show wasn't generally in the main hall anyway, it was in a separate place. So, no, in that way, I mean, to us sitting at home watching this stuff, that makes no difference to us whatsoever. But as a spectacle, and seeing all those fans in there, and the excitement of all of that, and all of the reporting that comes off the back of that, and all the little side stories, we're missing that from a real show floor stuff. We don't get, right. We got a lot. We would have got lots and lots. And for all of those 30 odd games that we've just talked about there now, there's probably another 80 or 90 more little gems that are in there that we haven't got to hear about. So yeah, I hope E3 show floor type thing comes back again. So,
What about you, Pete?
I don't know. I can't really. I'm not on all of these shows like you guys. It's. I mean, I watched tonight's show because that was the whole subject of tonight, and
right.
It just doesn't like capture me as much as it does. You know, some of the rest of the podcast crew. It's like it's not something that I lean towards. I just want to see a little snippet of it and then just play the game and get on with it.
Pete,
like sometimes
would you deny American type people the fun of EGX? So you're denying, that's what we're talking about here. That show floor is all of us guys getting together, all guys and girls going to a big show. I mean that's what I want to encourage that to continue on.
But that's the big difference, though, isn't it? We're getting together as a group of friends and as a community, and we're meeting each other face to face, and we're sharing stories and hangover cures and seeing each other naked, and like we you're getting that. But on E3, like I see a show and it's a professional show, and it's just one of those things that. It's a hype thing, and I'm not all about that.
But you do realise that if it hadn't been for that thing that went around for a couple of years there were loose plans in place for us to go out to America to one of the shows.
There was, but I wouldn't have gone for that. I would have gone for the community and meeting the people. Everybody. So, that would be the biggest drive for me. Everybody loves to see Greg's pretty face and your pretty face, Robin. So that's what I'd go for. And Booth mentioned, I think he's mentioned this twice, wanted to see a Series S with a disc tray. I think that's like, I don't know, I think that's kind of...
That's not happening.
Yeah, I believe Microsoft has a console for you called the Series X.
and maybe Halo Infinite single player DLC. But anyway, I can't comment on that.
I'm with you. You've got me. The booths, the bits and pieces, the stuff that you have to try and get into your flight case and all of that sort of stuff. Yes, that's what I want back again. And Kim makes a good point. We didn't see Fable either.
Because Fable not coming in 2023, at least the first half of 2023.
Yeah.
What's the latest Fable? Was it 3?
This would be 4 now.
4. Yeah. Okay.
Chicken Chaser.
All right. Let's real quickly. My quick thoughts. I agree. The community aspect of it is unmatched. I mean, having friends and being able to meet up and have that kind of that hands-on experience is. Not the naked part. I could really do without that. But the hands-on, less the naked part, more of the drinking, having fun, playing poker at night, talking about what we saw during the day, all of that good stuff. That's great. But I also do like the spectacle of E3. And I like the shows because, to me, it helps us celebrate our hobby. This is, we're all together because of gaming.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't know either one of you if it wasn't for video games. So, to me, it's like, this is celebrating our hobby. It's also, a reminder of how we all, found one another as friends. And a reminder of how I don't pay you to do this podcast. So, there's all of that.
Yeah. It's not like I'm shitting on these shows. I think they're great, but it's just not something that I'd go to. And like meeting people, you meet people online, just talking to them through playing Modern Warfare, or we've done exactly the same thing and met people via that, and ended up being good friends for years. And
your mouth.
I just don't see.
Oh, sorry. I thought your mouth had slipped off your head. I was just seeing your head.
I know, he's like head down. He's concentrating on something.
I got this blood blister on my finger. My dog got attacked. And I had to try and get the dog that was attacking him off him. And I got my hand in there, and I got a blood blister on my little finger, and it's just itching now. Oh, it's a Casio.
Is it a blood blister, or did you get bit? Because a blood blister implies you're rubbing up against something that you created a blister.
It just, oh my God, I'm going into this story now. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Hold on,
It just
Pete. Hold on, real quickly.
Okay.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I was walking my dog before I went to work, right? And we was just walking down this street, just down the road from where I am, and as you do, and this dog come from out of nowhere and dived right onto mine, and it was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and it locked its jaw on him, and it wouldn't let go.
Oh.
And it was like shaking its head like to rip its neck apart, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do here, and I just didn't know what to do.
Just start punching the dog in the face.
Well, this is it. I mean, there was a woman who got what had happened. The woman had got like loads of shopping in her hand, and she got the dog on the lead, and their dog had noticed ours and pulled her arm, and she let go of the shopping, and the lead come off her arm, and he raced down the driveway and dived onto my dog. That was the story, but I didn't know all of that, and I just see this dog go on, and I just
for the record, Pete, all of that inconsequential. That dog is a menace. You know, you were justified on taking that dog's life. You could have just, done whatever you need to do.
Probably a little bit harder to do in the UK, but I'll get you. I was there.
Dogs all die the same.
Yeah, I was very. It was quite a traumatic thing, really, for the dog.
I believe it. I believe it.
I felt so sorry for him, and it was about 2 minutes. This thing was going on for, and I got my hands. I don't give a shit, I just got my hands straight in its mouth, and I was twisting its head and like doing it. And I said, in the end, I turned around to this woman. I said, if you do not find a way to get this dog off my dog, I'm going to absolutely beat the shit out of it. And that's what I said to her. And she screamed, and her husband come out. And by the time her husband had come out, I'd got this dog off eventually. I was just getting my hands in, twisting its head and pulling at its face, and it eventually come off. But my dog had to go to the vet, and then she paid the vet bill anyway, which I thought was
good.
So that was the first thing I did. As soon as I come out the vet, I knocked on their door and I said, "Yeah, you got to pay that." And
Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
Yeah. So, God, man. But 2 days later, he got attacked by another dog.
Which I now see. Okay, hold on. There's more to this story. Maybe your dog is like a local troublemaker, and you just don't know it.
No, he's really not. He's an absolute softie. He's a real softie. But we just don't want to take him out now.
Pete, what if he's one of those dogs when you're not looking? He's like giving the middle paw to the other dogs. He's antagonizing him. Yep. Yeah. It's like, hey.
We just don't want to take him out no more. I'll get like anxious taking him out, so I'm not going to do it anymore. It's just
big cage. You need a cage for him.
I just feel really sorry for him. He just wants friends. It's a bit like me, really. I just want friends, and everybody just keeps on calling me Ginger and pinning me off.
Oh,
bless.
Is he Ginger?
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Classic. All right, very good.
Anyway,
so games are good.
Yeah, the games are good. All right, so we're kind of just wrapping the show up at this point, but we forgoed. That's not even really the right word, but anyway, we did not do our normal build up, our normal what we've been playing, our normal things we want to point out. So I do want to take that time right now. If there's anything you want to maybe talk about real quickly, any shows that you've seen, any events that you partook in, Robin, where you were celebrated as being a great foster parent, things like that.
There you go. Yeah. Well, we had I'll just put a photograph on the screen. Judith and I had a crazy weekend. On Friday night, we were up with some friends. We had a little place booked in Belfast. We apartment. We went out for dinner, which is great with no kids. It's a fantastic place where you cooked your steak in front of you. It was great.
Nice.
Lots of cocktails. Heavy night, and then 2 nights in a row. Then we was it last night? We were at the Fostering Awards ceremony for Northern Ireland, which we were nominated for. The little photograph up on the screen now, my wife and I, and we picked up a lovely little award there, and that was very nice and very humbling. So, and thank you for everybody that's mentioned that. So, it was great. Busy. So,
I mean, when you're not being a dick, you're a really nice guy.
Yeah, and actually, I actually brush up pretty well. Look at that photograph.
You do. You clean up nicely.
I love the tie. Do you know what?
Yes.
Robin, with a wife
credit to you. As soon as I see that
I
The
Matching
first thing
hanky.
I went into was the tie. It was class.
Yeah,
Yep.
matching hanky as well there as well, and the
Nice.
waistcoats and yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it was it's been busy. So yeah, we've had fun and but we're absolutely exhausted. Imagine 2 nights out in a row, 2 nights.
It's
in the
crazy.
chair.
That's
So,
insanity. That right there.
Yeah.
I've sent you a picture of my dog and his little injury as well
Oh.
on WhatsApp. But yeah,
Can you put your finger up and show us your injury as well? One more time.
my injury. I don't think it'll focus. I'm not bothered about my finger. I don't give a shit. It's just a little black dot.
Yeah. We're gonna see next week. You're gonna have to lose your finger, Pete. To tetanus shot. I mean, seriously, is that like? Did he break the skin type thing, or is
No, that's why I didn't go to the doctors. No, it's just a blood blister, so he pinched my skin. So no.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's the boy.
All right.
There's the dog. He even has a ginger strap on it around his neck.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think the dog is inviting trouble.
Is that what it is?
I think it is. I think
I'm
it is.
I'll get him a pair of glasses like Robin, and he'll be fine then.
Total Harry Potter look, by the way. I failed to mention that at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
We were after our Saturday morning. We went into Belfast town and we walked around a bit, and we went into the shop, and I was bored because it was one of these little shops that had everything for like pencils and lights and knitting stuff and knickknacks, and it was like an IKEA but for this stuff. And I was with my mate Adrian, and we're just going to go on. There's a Forbidden Planet next door. Come and walk through the Forbidden Planet with me. And just to the end, I spotted these glasses, and I picked them up and walked back around to Judith. And says, "Here, we're going next door." And it says, "I knew you were going to pick those up. I just knew it." So anyway, all right. So I mean, that's been done. Everybody have a good week and all that stuff. So take us away.
Pete, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about real quickly before we?
No. I've not even got my what happened on this day. No.
You are slacking. Seriously.
Slacking. I got so excited by the what you call it, that the show that I forgot everything else. But at least I turned up.
You did turn up. We appreciate that.
Ahead, anyway, did.
Hey, so here's a funny little story. So, I don't know, probably like 2 weeks back, my wife and I were talking. We were talking about Top Gun and all that good stuff, and the question came up of, what's Val Kilmer done lately? And I was just kind of like, I don't know. I haven't seen Val Kilmer. And so I did not know that he, I guess, got throat cancer. Yeah. And he has put forward a documentary called Val. It's on Amazon Prime. We watched it last night. He apparently has been using video cameras his entire life, especially like as a young, budding potential actor, into obviously all the way up to him getting sick. And it's a real interesting look into not only his life, but also some of the behind the scenes stuff of being an actor. It was just kind of fascinating. Also very sad because you see Val Kilmer today. He is just a shred of what he used to be. Really? And also kind of a bit wacky. Like you kind of get a sense that he is going a little bit into the deep end. Yeah, I mean, seeing him at Comic-Con in his current state, trying to sign posters, that kind of thing was just heartbreaking on one hand. And also, it just shows how fragile life can be. 1 minute he was on top of the world, and the next not so much. So anyway, worth a look. And I have fully caught up on The Boys. That show is just crazy,
isn't it?
It is brilliant, and also just some gory ass shit. Really not safe for the kids for sure. But definitely good TV. All right, that is it. We are done. I am going to play. I have outro music for us. So that said, thanks everybody for watching. Tune in next week. We'll be back.
We're done.
We're done.
Oh, I wish
Streaming